Yasekol parshusei psuchos. He's speaking about the Tefillin Shel Yad. Mishna Berura says they should all be psuchos. This is the paragraph structure. Chutz mi parsha achrona aksuv b'Torah. Shehi voyim shemoa sheyaseh stuma. That's the last parsha, which is written in Torah of the Tefillin, which is the Shema. Voyim shemoa should be written stuma. The Mishna Apostle. He did it differently. The paragraph structure was different. It's possible. V'yesh machshirim bekulam psuchos. Others say no, that even if the last one is a psucha, it's valid. Dinus elu nogim af parsha v'yim shemoa b'rosh hashito k'shar parshas. These dinus elu, that means in Ashkenaz, the custom is that the Sofer writes that even v'yim shemoa at the beginning of the line, like the first three parshas. Okay, let's see the Mishna Berura. Amid Vov. Kol parshuseo rotzeloma me'atfilin shel yad hol vein nichtovus b'klaf echod. Since it's written on one long parchment, shach ben psuchos stuma. So we're speaking of where the paragraph, how the paragraph starts, because there's a previous paragraph, right? The four parshas. Dainu shemeniach mokum cholok b'sof hashita achrona shel parsha rishona. You leave this unwritten parchment, which separates from one parsha to the other, a wider margin. Kidei tes osios, which is the equivalent of nine letters. Masl parsha achrei b'rosh hashito b'daf hasheni. And you start the next parsha at the beginning of the line in the next column. Hari parsha achrei nikra psucha. The second paragraph that begins at the beginning, let's go parsha psucha. Kemo. Any parsha that starts at the beginning of the line, it's not indented, that's called parsha psucha. Meaning, there's enough unwritten parchment. Let's say the previous paragraph, you could write 9 letters, and then you start the next paragraph at the beginning of the column. O besof shito achrono shebdafa kodem avol tefillin sharo sheparshis nichtom al dalet klofim ein laakvid ben psuchos b'stumos. He says, but in tefillin sharo, which each parchment is a separate parchment, goes in its own compartment, it's not really relevant whether it starts at the beginning of the paragraph or it doesn't start. But nevertheless, they are makbid as in the tefillin shel yad. Kein kos v'achronim. The Mechaber says that the first 3 parshas are psuchos, the last one is a stuma, as in the Torah. When they should give a rishon shem kaddish voyo ki aviacho shma he psuchos b'Torah. Just being they're written as they're written in Torah. They begin at the beginning of the what? Of the column. That's psuchos. O parsh voyo shema stuma. And the closing parsha, which is Voyim Shemoa, why is it indented? As it's written in Sefer Torah, that's the way it should be written, the paragraph structure in the Tefillin. Parshas Kadesh, Parshas Voyim Shemoa, Sheyaschu B'rosh Hashita Rishona, Shebdaf Hasheni, Tia Parsha Psucha, Kmo Shibatorah, Chenach Parshas Voyim Kiviyacho, but the last parsha, which is Voyim Shemoa, Yasa Stuma. Vobestim also, Yivor Lekam, on how exactly it's structured, he will explain. Parshas Kadesh, after P'tor, Hi Psucha, Machmish Hu Mafsik, Berevach Tesosius, Beshur HaKodem, since there's a space to write 9 letters. Kanein Shaykh Zeh, Tihi, Parsha Rishona, right? The Parsha Rishona, it's starting. There's nothing prior to it. Komokum came shubet maschilo berosh hashito vein kosov lefonei klum he nikras psucha. Nevertheless, normally psucha is it has a gap of 9 osios. When you start the first parsha, there's nothing written before. Nevertheless, since it's the start, it's the beginning. That's called psucha. Then ksavach is so small because nothing seals it from prior. Here, what's psucha? Because before it, there's a space. separating between the first and the second. So when there's something separating, where you can write space 9 letters, so therefore there's sufficient separation. Therefore, you can write at the beginning of the column. Then ksav achesosma. That means it has to be open at the beginning. So normally you would have to indent it, but over here, because you have normally before you normally have space for 9 letters, so it has an opening. Therefore, you can start right at the beginning of the column. But let's say, so he says, so what about the first parsha? There's nothing in it before. So there's nothing sousing. There's nothing that seals it, because that's the beginning. So it's not necessary to indent it that there should be a space before you start writing it. Right.
You can start the new row with the indentation and finish the old row at the end.
You're not supposed to, right? Right, correct. Vimshino, the Mechaber says if he had written it differently, Sha'osa Stuma Psucha, what was supposed to be, he took the Stuma, he made it Psucha, the closing one. Oh, Psucha Stuma, it's possible. That's the position of Mechaber. The Ramos says V'yesh Machshirin. Others validate it if they're all Psuchos, including the last one. And he says in Minig Ashkenaz, B'dinus Elu Nogim, that even the closing parsha is what? Is a Psucha. Starts at the beginning. V'yesh Machshir Ratzloma B'diyevet. Sh'af Shebetor Parsha V'yim Shemoah Hi Stuma. Although in the Torah V'yim Shemoah is Stuma, Mikol Mokom Kevin Shebetor Eina Smucha Klal LeParsha Shema. Hear this? Factually, in the Torah, V'yim Shemoah doesn't follow Shema Yisrael. The Tefillin it does. So therefore, it doesn't have to be written as it's written in the Sefer Torah for that reason. That's why we have this Yesh Machshirin. Ein ze nechshav shinui mashar revach shebeinu l'parsha Shema hu pasuach v'lo sosum. That you have the space. Moshe sosum harevach shel foneh b'Torah. Kev shka b'Torah yish beinu l'parsha Shema shber revach harbi pasuach. Right, there are many parshas between Shema and V'yim Shemoah. Right, one is where in Eschano, and the other one is in Ekev. V'chein iskim achronim. But he says that's b'diavad. Chatchila, it should be stuma, as it's written in the Torah. But since in the total picture it is psucha, because you have this distance from one to the other, if you wrote it as a psucha, it's okay. It's not a problem. It will be valid. Yeah. B'chulam psuchos, u'lehepech. The Moshe is a parshia, be'ashot parshia stuma. What about the first 3? You had written one of them to be a stuma, not a psucha. L'kul yam apostle. Which means you didn't have the space of 9 between. Ken kosa achrov od kosu dedavko im osa parshas V'yim Shemoah parsha psucha kosher l'deyazu. Avol mein lefonei revach klal beinu l'parsha Shema. Let's say there's no unwritten parchment. The moment the previous parsha goes till there's less than 9 letters, and you start V'yim Shemoah immediately on top. Lo b'daf shalo v'lo b'daf shel parsha Shema. Hainu sheyischel osa b'rosh hashita el yora sheb'daf. Lo iniach revach klal l'foneh b'os hashita. He didn't even indent it. He started V'yim Shemoah right at the beginning of the line, and the previous ended at the end. Lo b'sof shita shel parsha Shema. O sheniach revach ve'bo she revach shem parsha l'shem. He deleted a space of 9 letters. The hainu k'dei lichtov tesosis hainu zenechshav shinu gomur ma shehi ksuv b'Torah u'posul l'kuli almo av parsha zu. So parshas V'yim Shemoah ein tzorch l'aniach shem revach. At the end, you have to leave no unwritten parchment. Chein noagim l'sayim al ha'oretz b'sof shita achrona. K'mei hashmayim al ha'oretz. That word you end at the end of the line. Ubedina seilu. So Ramos says in the municipalities, the countries of Ashkenaz, they write even the last one as a psucha, not as the mechaber. We said, but even the Yesh Machshirin, the ones who validate it, they say that's only b'diavad. So if it's only b'diavad, why is the minog to write it l'chatchila, which is a b'diavad? That's what he's addressing now. It's an inappropriate minhag. I mean, the custom is not, shouldn't be acceptable. Kol mokom hetiko ramor v'keim she'ikaru b'diavad kosher b'chol inyan v'yesher la'asos stuma l'divrei hakol yesh lahachzik b'hamino k'dei shlotzi las al rishonim. Interesting. He's saying, factually, people, I don't know what he says. He says, the efshel lasos stuma l'divrei hakol. Well, what can you make stuma l'divrei hakol? The last part, what can you make stuma? Because people they can't gauge the nine that there should be less than nine letters, whatever. So therefore, not to be motzi las on the ones that weren't written properly. Therefore, l'chatchila, you're right. I'll give you an example. The Gemara says in Gittin that tagim, the crowns that you write on certain letters. A get one doesn't write with tagim. Even though in the Sefer Torah you have these crowns on certain letters, shad gats, as we'll discuss later. In a get, it should not be written. Why? Even though it's a hidur, it's something which it beautifies the letter, because people will say that if it's written without tagim, it's not valid. The get's not valid. So you can actually be motzi las, you're going to cause people to be murmurings on the written original get that were given without tagim. People don't know. They say, the get that woman received is not a valid get because it doesn't have tagim. So therefore, even though it's a hidur, it's an enhancement of the get, having tagim, but it'll be at the cost of others, that people will claim that the other get not valid. You don't write tagim on any get. That's the more in Gittin. So the same thing here. Since the certain tefillin which are written b'di'evid, if you insist on this l'chatchila, people will say that the tefillin that were written not as this are invalid. So therefore, because Skot Mechaber is invalid. Mechaber says if the last parsha is not stuma, it's possible. The Ramah is ruling according to those that it's valid b'di'evid. So since there is an opinion holds it's possible, if people are you're going to have the last parsha, which is going to be a psucha, people are going to say it's what? Some write it one way that they can say it's possible. So therefore, Ashkenaz, it's always psucha. Then you're not going to find a pair of Ashkenaz tefillin where the last parsha is a stuma, it's going to be a psucha. For that reason. Now, there's a halacha in Hilchos Nitin. There's a halacha, Alan, is important. Because you're a doctor, you don't want anybody to question your expertise, your professionalism. Okay, if a woman goes to the mikveh and she comes back, and then she already had relations with her husband, and she finds a chatzitza, an adhesion on her, and there's a question whether the tefillah was valid. If it wasn't, it was a chatzitza which definitely was not a valid tefillah. She has to go to the mikveh again. But let's say it was only l'chatchila, it should have been removed. You're not machmir, she goes back to the mikveh. She should not go back to the mikveh. Because they're going to say the children, they were conceived in not in purity. That's motzi laza labonim. People say, why did you come back? And if she already had relations, they're going to say the child was conceived in impurity. So therefore, for al-chatchila, you don't go back. She should not go to the mikveh again. If it wasn't a valid tefillah, it wasn't valid, it's a separate discussion. Let's say find the mikveh was possible. Mikveh was possible. So that she didn't go to the mikveh. She has to go to the mikveh. She can't continue to be with her husband. So it's not there, you can't help it. But for al-chatchila, to say that it's not, to go back, and people are going to be murmurings, people are going to say things, we don't do that. We had also with Funny Nechtam, right after Gimel. The husbands can come and make a claim. So Tosas explains, we ignore the husband. We don't pay attention. But factually, if he comes and he claims that it was a forgery, people are going to start talking and say the woman factually wasn't divorced. Right? So therefore, not to be motzi laz, that there shouldn't be these murmurings. And the husband, since the shliach will say, when Nechtam he verified it, the husband's not, it's almost guaranteed the husband's not showing. He may show, but it probably won't show. But if he comes, it's not that you believe him. It's only, again, shlo lotzi laz, that he shouldn't cause people that there should be murmurings that the get wasn't valid. Okay.